Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and in today's episode we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to show you one of the limited edition 1-watt Marshall amplifiers that have been released in recent times, the JTM 1. The JTM 1 is a 1-watt recreation of the classic 60s Marshall amplifiers that we use for those great rock, blues, prog and psychedelic kind of tones. It's a great platform to have going at a bedroom or a home studio or even live where you want to keep things under control. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing to show you all and see what it can do. I'm of course playing my Fender Stratocaster. It's a bit hard to show you what it sounds like without the coloration of the amp, but this is kind of what it sounds like clean. I had a bit more overdriven intro for fun, but we're basically going straight into the JTM 1 and we're recording using our Mesa Boogie cab clone, which I've got set to the vintage cabinet. I'm basically using the vintage cabinet because it's a JTM. It should have a vintage style cabinet speaker in it. Cabinet choice, speaker choice will make a big difference to the overall sound at the end of the day, but this is a product I know and trust, so that's what we're going with. So the JTM 1 is pretty simple to control. We've got our volume control or our loudness control, which controls how much saturation the amp gets. When you've got it down low, it's nice and clean, and when you've got it up high, it's highly distorted. And a tone control. The tone control is a little bit different to most tone controls, say on a guitar or a pedal, in that it only actually controls the high frequencies. In the 12 o'clock position, like so, it is fairly neutral. It then does a treble cut from 12 o'clock and anti-clockwise, and then clockwise from 12 o'clock, it's a treble boost. So a nice way to create some upper harmonics there and brighten up any of those tones that may otherwise be darker because of the volume setting. So let's have a listen to it clean. This is the bridge pickup. More volume. Some second position on the Strat. Some middle position. Our fourth position, which is the bridge and the neck pickups together. And some neck. I'm going to hit it a little bit harder in the bridge just to show you what that cleanliness has as far as dynamic range. So it does start to break up a little bit, but it's certainly not over the top. To go from here, we can push our loudness up. We'll go to about 10 o'clock. Volume back up a bit. So starting to get some nice dynamics there. Into the neck pickup. It's getting a little muddy there, so I'll show you some of the treble boost. We go from to like so. Even the single note stuff does nicely with that little bit of extra treble. And then, just for comparison, I'll darken that tone control back to about 9 AM. So you can hear it does pretty well having that little bit of an active treble boost and cut. We're going to go a little more distorted now. Let's bring that up to about the 1 o'clock position, like so. So back to the bridge. Starting to get into some pretty rock-like tones. I'm going to push my treble up a little bit just to help brighten those upper harmonics. Some neck. So it's sounding pretty good. You definitely get a lot of the clean tone in that first 8 to about 11 AM setting. It does get quite loud at this point as well. 1 watt is still going to be enough for any bedroom use, any rehearsal room use, and certainly anywhere you can put a microphone in front of it. I've gigged with amps this size and I think they're really, really convenient because they get that dynamic range in such a small amount of volume when compared to the real deal. One of the main advantages of using an amp this size is to get it to its clipping stage. Marshalls are renowned for the sound of their power amp stage clipping, and so when you can get them to a sufficient enough volume, you really get the amp sort of powering along with every strum. Of course, when you get to, say, cranking the volume dial on a JTM or any Marshall, the volume is going to be excruciatingly loud. The sound guy is going to hate you, the neighbors are going to hate you, and you're probably going to end up damaging your hearing. So having a 1 watt solution makes that really, really easy to achieve. Definitely sounds good with some treble boost in at that saturated gain point. Particularly when the neck pickup is so dark when it's saturating like that. So great a range of tones, great dynamics, works really well with the single coil pickups. So I think the only scientific thing to do would be to try it with some humbuckers. So I'm now going to be playing my Guild S100. It is fitted with the original Guild HB1 humbuckers that are generally pretty bright, but still have that mids focus that we like in a humbucker. The clean tone, which is where I started earlier on the 9 o'clock, I'll show you, and the tone is back to its neutral position at 12. So my bridge pickup sounds like this. So a little bit crispier with the fuller sound of the humbucker. When we go to our middle position, which is both humbuckers on, it sounds like so. Still clean enough to hear those lovely out of phase tones starting to creep through. Our neck pickup. So a little more breakup than the Strat. Going back to our bridge, I'm going to push that overdrive up to about that 11 AM point. Sounds pretty good. I'm going to push the treble a little on the tone control. Does bring out the neck pickup quite nicely. We'll go that gain a little higher now. Let's push it up to about the 2 o'clock position. So nice, crunchy, what I consider to be classic Marshall tone. I'm going to crank that all the way up now and get the saturation really moving. Push that treble a bit more. A little more still. There you go, that's the Marshall JTM 1. It's a great size for using at home or using in a rehearsal space. The ability to have it running as clean or as dirty as you want at a more sufficient volume level is really, really useful. There is a switch on the back that allows the unit to go from 1 watt to 0.1 of a watt, which is a really great reduction in power and will help to take the edge off in those scenarios where you just need to be a little bit quieter, or you want to absolutely slam a cabinet with the full power of that amp at a more reasonable volume. If you've enjoyed this one, don't forget to check out our other videos on the channel. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe on our social media. We appreciate the feedback. If you want to leave some comments or suggestions on things you'd like to see or other things you may have heard of, we'd love to hear that feedback as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.